Howdy, folks. Welcome to another day in the Milky Way, and today is Friday. And of course, we have the return of the Queen of Quartz. And along with us for this ride, Miss Sue G. How you ladies doing tonight?
Doing great, thank you.
Exceptional, Brian. Thank you. Well, thank you.
It's always a chirp in the beginning, especially with Kent. When I have him on that delay from Canada, oh my goodness, can kind of be irritating. But anyway, so how you ladies been doing this week?
It's been a crazy week. It's like today I was thinking to myself, it's like Mercury retrograde in overdrive or something. It's just been back to back. I think, Karen, you've been the same. Is that right?
Yes, exactly. Especially since my mind is in Mercury, so that doesn't help, and on my sun as well. So yeah, it's been a crazy 3 weeks actually. And the last week, just exceptional. Just as far as busyness and plans and organizing and manifestation of future goals and things coming about. It's just incredible. It's just happening so fast these days. Like it's almost as soon as I can think it, it gets created almost. It's crazy.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Is that how it's been for you too, Brian?
You know, it wasn't really that bad for me. I had a few hiccups here and there as far as electronics go, but it does seem like the past few days has been accelerated. So I guess it's got to get its last few jabs in there before.
Right. Big time. Although I feel like since the Jupiter went direct, I've noticed a shift. The last couple of days, there's been a shift. Even though it's been super busy, it's not been, I don't know, quite as challenging or quite I don't know what the word is to use, but it's been just a little bit easier in a way.
Let me ask you a question. Since Jupiter is opposite of Gemini right now, would that have a stronger influence on me?
I would say yes, definitely. Yeah, with the opposition, it's really an activated energy. So that would be, is it directly opposite you? Karen, you would know more about this than me.
Yeah. Yes, Brian, is it direct opposition?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you would definitely feel it for sure, because any kind of opposition is it's not like a negative thing. It's the opportunity to look at things and make changes and new beginnings and different things. So an opposition really pulls you out and makes you really think and pushes against you and causes you to think about things. It's an opposition, right? It's, so it's, yeah, but in a good way, right? Because Jupiter is the planet of good luck, right? It's like I said, new beginnings, new paths,
an expansion.
So it's being in the opposition, it's going to force you, and things will come up that'll push you in that direction, even if you don't want to. So your opposing factor will activate it. It's a good thing.
I got a good feeling this is going to be a good Leo season for me for some reason. I don't know. Feels like it's going to be a good one.
Oh, I'd have to look at your chart because, of course, Leo fire and then all your air planets, right? So with your, air fans fire and creates your fire and, expands it. So you need fire and air to work the oxygen. So one plays off the other. So that's such a good pair. So yeah, if you have Leo, definitely. I
got a fan of flames. I mean, come on now. That's what I'm here for.
The last thing you need to do is be thinking more.
Oh, that's too hard for Brian. That's constant for me and him. It never stops.
No, God, it does not.
Not at all. So, hey, we're used to it.
What are we talking about tonight?
Well, we have a few topics we can cover. Because one of the things to me that Karen and I were talking the other day, and of course you and I have been talking, Brian, just about how with all this energy, it's become so important to learn how to move energy. And I know we're all talking about it. Everyone talks about it all the time. And I also want to point out, it's like we talk about this all the time too. There's no original thought. So it's not like we're coming out with original ideas but it's more about having a conversation and anchoring to me certain aspects, because there's so many like channels and people out there just talking in really esoteric terms. They're talking about things that you can't really ground into practicality, and people watch it and they go, wow, that sounds so cool, and I really resonate with it. I don't really understand what they're saying, but because they're talking in all these outer spiritual terms. Some you can't quantify, or you can't really make it practical. So what I love about like Karen is that she, the stuff that she talks about, and which is near and dear to my heart too, and some of the stuff that I'm doing is more about bringing all that back into the body and learning to work the energy in the body. It's so important with what we're doing right now. And also to me, it's about working the elements. We've been talking about the elements. So I have a lot of earth. Brian, you have a lot of air. I think Karen, you have a pretty good mix, don't you?
Pretty good mix, yeah, but more fire and air. But yeah, no, pretty good mix in the appropriate houses and things. Yeah,
it's good to know what you've got and how you're going to best process energy, because as having a lot of earth, I'm not going to process energy the way you two process energy. Everyone does things a little bit differently, so it becomes about finding what works for you. But to me, the point is to really pull it into the body and pull inward, if you know what I mean. Karen, you can speak to that, right?
Sure. Okay. Yeah, definitely. We did talk, Sue, about that for sure. And as far as I guess what you were noticing, though, and myself as well, is that I'm coming across a lot of people that seem to be out of balance. Is what you were talking about as far as their energies, all for different reasons. People have health issues, or I find these days there's a lot of anxiety and depression just because of how fast things are moving within the world and how many changes and just the friction of everything within our world. It's just becoming quite a pressure. And so we have all kinds of health issues, and balance issues. So yeah, it's a matter of balancing your energies and bringing more of your energy, or bringing it back into yourself where you've lost energy throughout the past, especially with people that are stuck in past traumas, which seems to be a big thing. I deal with a lot of people with childhood issues and on and on and on. That different events and moments have caused negative or traumatic events where these people seem to be stuck in patterns or stuck in ruts, and that causes a lot of loss of power or energy. So the whole idea as we go through life and as we learn is to gain more and more energy, so that we can have more clarity and use that power, and we can get into that after. So, but the whole thing, what you notice, Sue, is about balance, of course. Right. And so I think, and somebody mentioned it, and I've talked about it on and on about our etheric fields and our energy systems and how that works. And we talked about our assemblage point and where our fibers come out from there and touch the world and connect to the earth and to our physical three-dimensional bodies as well.
Can I interrupt you really quick?
You sure can.
The assemblage point, because we were talking before the show about that, and it's like the assemblage point can be something different to different people, right? It's a kind of a different term, or a different ways of looking at the assemblage point, but it's all the same sort of thing. Somewhere within the stomach area, the belly area, underneath the belly, solar plexus, and the sacral area. That's the assemblage point, from the way I see it.
Correct. Yeah, that's where it comes out basically from our system, right, and connects to the like I said, to the earth and to ourselves, and then up to our higher selves within the grid system. And those fibers connect over and allow us to connect to the collective consciousness and be able to move along that grid system. Where you notice that more is when you can come out of the three-dimensional environment, or where we reside in the physicality, and move up into where we lucid dream, or the astral plane. And that's where you'll notice the shift from the denseness of the 3D world and what we see, and into the more light world, and where you can actually see the grid and see the fibers and see the energy and be able to use them and move. So in order to do that, to get to that point and do what I call seeing, and actually seeing the world and seeing all the energies, you have to be able to have enough energy to do that. In order to do that, you have to be quite in balance. So first thing we'll talk about then, because we talk about tools, and a friend of mine said that I should talk about recapitulation, because that's the main tool. that somebody uses to pull back their energy or power from anybody that is out of balance, from past crises or past any kind of event or moment or experience in their life that has left a wound or has drained energy or has left them stuck in a pattern. So recapitulation is used for that. And I'll explain how that's done.
Well, yeah, and that's another one, though. That's another word to me that it's a word that I wouldn't use, but in my work, I do, as we were talking yesterday, do the exact same sort of thing where you talk about going back and working with the inner child and working with your old programming and your old patterning and releasing all that stuff. Because that, like you're saying, that's what totally drains your energy, takes you off of your path here. And then you distract yourself with the esoteric terms, like I'm talking about, I want to be up here. When you're out of balance down here, you can't do it. Just like you're saying.
That's right. You have to be a complete open system and be able to do that. So that isn't just a term, right? There's so many terms that you can use for gaining your power back. But this is the one I've used for 30 years. And what you do, and it takes time, and it's called erasing your personal history or your baggage. And you sit quiet in a meditative spot, make sure you're by yourself, and close your eyes. And it's more like a breathing exercise. So anything that enters your mind at that moment of a past experience, think of anything that upsets you, or it'll come in automatically, especially negative experiences. As soon as that comes in, what you're going to do is you're going to breathe out as you move your head from the left to the right, like that. And you're going to breathe out and release any negative energy from that experience, whoever gave that to you. Usually it's another person, can be a whole event, but you're going to release anything that you've kept that doesn't belong to you, that event or person tried to convince you belong to you. And then what you're going to do as you move your head and breathe in from the right to the left, you're going to pull back or suck in all of your energy back from that moment, right? And you're going to remember that event, try to think of every detail and everything, and pull back anything that is yours. And that's how you gain back your energy from moments. And you do that over and over until there's absolutely no emotions that would drain you from that event. Okay. And the reason we do that, and I can even explain quickly, I didn't even mean to talk so much, is that the reason why you want to pull back your energy and release all the emotions is that when you realize at a certain level, there's energies that feed off of that part of you, like your emotions that you keep, the energy attached to that. Okay. And I can only repeat something that an 8-year-old spoke of and said to a bunch of adults at the time, when somebody that can see with no barriers jumping up from a kitchen table said, "Can't you see them? They're all sitting in between you. You're eating the carrot and they're eating the soul of the carrot." And you see, emotions are something that is there, but we cannot see. It's in the etheric, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not physical in the 3D dimension. So that is what they, feed off of or eat off of, especially negative. There's certain entities that really like negative, as we know, right? So this is why you want to release emotions from events and things, so that there is, so you're in balance, because it's actually those feelings and emotions that trigger and keep you out of balance, actually. And when you have released all of that, you feel calm and you're in balance and just where you want to be.
Yeah. Yeah. And, that also, a lot of times you can tap into emotions and you don't have a memory to attach it to, or even past life things. And so I have, that I also love that, like working with with elements, the 5 Chinese elements, breathing technique with colors and sounds to release, just continually releasing stuff. I have a whole series that I do, which I can't go over in an hour on the show, but I do it at night, and it always, like you're saying, it relaxes you. just gets rid of, because
That's true. Yeah. Anything that works for people, you're right, Sue, because it's how you end up feeling. You can feel the release when anything's bad, and you can feel when you're good and at your maximum and have power and you're feeling well. You can tell from your middle, from that solar plexus, from that assemblage point, from where you feel, you know, in your gut feeling and everything, when everything's in balance and you feel really well. Right? You can tell. So anything you do that makes you feel like that is good. Okay, everybody, anything that's opposite, that you get bad feelings from, anxiety, depression, anything that makes you anxious, upset, wanting to throw up, anything like that is not good. So stop it.
Well,
I can say.
I do a clearing. I do a clearing and protection before each show. And like, I mean, you can actually feel that negativity leave your body. And then when you bring in that light, I mean, it feels like an x-ray scan going through you or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it does. That reminds me of the clearing that I do, which is just releasing all impurities and complexities as words that I use. And then you fill yourself up with light to fill in those spaces where you've released, because it is physical in the body, even though you can't see it, right? The emotions are in the body, they're stored in the cells, and sometimes it requires the physical movement or physical touch to release some of this stuff also. But yeah, the refilling with the light, I think, is an important piece too.
Yeah. Well, remember, everyone, imagination and perception is everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it creates our whole reality, including our destiny. So everything you think, you create, so automatically. And you're correct again, Sue, for certain things as far as energetically. Of course, when it's any of the lower chakra areas, especially that have to do with your root chakra, your red, your flight, your fight, your survival, anything to do, you know, with the red, orange, and yellow. The lower ones would be more of a physical treatment, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
It benefit people by doing any kind of touch therapy, massage type of thing for people that can release by helping you with that. Exercise is great. And I'm back to the basics about, you know, nothing like empowering yourself by being physically well. And I mentioned before why the exercises for your inner core are so important. Again, like Tai Chi and yoga and dancing, and there's, you know, all kinds of those inner core exercises that are excellent for, you know, increasing your power and using that muscle that you talk about and moving that energy, right? Mm-hmm. So physical, like you say, in a lot of cases for all those, especially those lower chakras are great. So, you know, anytime you can get out and exercise, right, you're creating more energy. The more you exercise, the more energy you have. Just
what I love about you talking about the lower chakras, just occurs to me while you're talking about it, that you know, that those are the chakras that get attacked with the programming and with, you know, with the media and with just the way the society is set up, and especially the sacral and the root chakras. You know, the system is designed to steer us away from dealing with the energy that come out of those chakras, trap us in the money, shame us and guilt us around sex and sexuality, and you cut us off from our creative power.
Absolutely. And you know, that seems to be the ones I always have the most trouble with, is my sacral and root.
Well, most of us do, really.
Okay, well, it depends again on your chart, Brian. I can say why, you know, for you with your chart, because I kind of know it, for your root and lower chakras is because you're all upper body, right? You're open from because your air and your fire and your other planets, you're open from how you think, and your top, you talk, you have no problem for your throat and talking and your third eye and your crown and down to your heart, of course. So your blocks, because of other things, you're blocked from the lower half. So you have to really work on drawing energy from the earth and grounding and doing exercises from the lower and bringing it up from the earth instead of from above. You know what I'm saying? Because you're quite open that way. And like you say, that's where you have the blocks mostly, right? So absolutely. Yeah, try using the earth more. So for sure, for you, I know that for sure. Yeah. Just because of your planets.
Yeah, I'm all there.
I find that to be true for a lot of people, though, that with a lot of the issues You start with the first blocks. They're down in the first three chakras, especially the sacral and the root chakra. Grounded or not grounded.
Because again, those have to do with your family and everything that happens at the root and base level of your family, personal, your family level, like I said, it's your survival, your instincts, your flight, your, fight, flight responses. Yeah, that's your base root red chakra. And that's, like you say, what, it gets pounded on the most. They want that blocked, right? And because that's your direct connection to the earth and to that, right? So, and you're right. That's where the programming starts, especially, like I said, within our whole environment and television and, programming and internet and just everything. That's a constant hit to that.
Take us out of our power there. Take us out of our creative power, and we're giving them all of our creative power. I know we talk about that over and over and over, but it's true, especially going back to dealing with the emotional stuff. If you don't deal with the emotional stuff in the programming, it just constantly recycles, but it's a process. It's not a simple process by any stretch of the imagination. We all have to go through it, no matter how we came in or whatever element we come from before we get here. We all have to go through the human process every time.
Right.
I recommend you doing it daily, going in and doing a clearing, because look how much stuff is coming at us all day long. And I mean, literally, you can do it in 5 minutes. So, I mean, I would recommend doing it daily.
Right. I have some other really things that I've observed lately, even with the guests that I have and different people that I find would probably do people great good. You have to unplug. I find people are too plugged in. I don't own a cell phone. I've never owned a cell phone. I won't carry a cell phone around. I don't need to be that connected. Thanks. I don't need to be followed. I don't need to be uploaded, downloaded to that matrix. I don't need to be on. I choose when to come out and take part. I choose when to come on. It's not something that I have continually beside me and on all the time. I find people are too plugged in. And it's not real, everybody. It's really not in ways, as far as what we're talking about, as far as coming in balance and with your physicality and getting well and healthy. And I know other people have talked about it often and the benefits, like Kent and different people of going into nature for a couple of weeks, which just amazed them in different things. I mean, as you know, that's all I spend my time is in the wilderness, thousands and thousands of hours. And the best thing is to unplug as much as you can. Yes, take your shoes off, which are rubber soles, because they block you from connecting. A simple thing like that, just like tires, they're used for electrical currents. And so take your rubber shoes or sneakers off and make sure to walk on the earth. Get in nature, unplug. Try staying in it as much as you can and as often as you can every day, because you can get well. Just by absorbing the energy of nature instead of within cities and people and the friction and everybody's issues and problems, just get away and make sure you sit often by yourself in as far away from, cities and people as you can, as often as you can. Go by water, go by rivers, go by creeks, hug a tree. You know what I mean? Unplug.
Yeah, it's true. That is a good shortcut. Just being.
Yeah, I'm telling people the shortcut. Yeah, unplug.
It is a shortcut, definitely. It's interesting because, and to me, it's a little bit I don't know, out of order, because I wanted to talk a little bit about one of the things we were talking about yesterday when I was talking about how Doug talks about how Abraham found whatever in the cave, and that to me it's entirely possible that AI has been running in the background this whole time, and that we could have people that are already have these Neuralinks in or whatever that running around these people, is possible. But I saw an article about 5G today on CNN, which I clicked on, and it's just like, why do we need 5G? Well, we need 5G so that we can have cars that drive themselves, and we can have toothbrushes that tell us what our health is. And I mean, just the stuff that we don't need. We do not need 5G. But you can see where all that is all tied in together And so this was another topic I wanted to bring up because we were talking about it yesterday, and it was just to me so interesting.
Oh, okay,
5G.
interesting. 5G. Why do we need 5G?
Yeah, we don't need 5G.
I'll tell you, we don't. I'll tell you why. They do, or we do. And it's for anybody plugged in and what their future plans are. And I'll say this again, as far as what we're heading towards, and it has to do with the data transfer rate within our whole system at the highest levels, even the grid that we talk about surrounding the earth and different things. So it has to do with that. And think about it. Right now, if you're on a little cell phone or iPad or whatever, and you got your thumbs and you're going like this, right? That's your download speed right now, everybody. Okay. That's not fast enough for them. Okay. They're ready to really get major fast here as far as the transfer data rate, because our whole world is just based on information. That's what it's all about. Okay. Consciousness is information. So think about it. If you encourage or can get all those people plugged in to agree to an implant, which they're already doing, and I won't say who it is, I don't have to here, who's already, they want you to get an implant so they can increase the download speeds directly, and you need 5G for that in the capacity that they're talking about as far as everybody. So can you imagine how quick the AI will grow, or the matrix, once you get large portions of the population plugged in with the implant? And think about a picture's 1,000 words and still your little thumb. So you just have to think of something, and that whole picture, 1,000 words, that it would, is gone. Everything, like up and down. And then, but you also have to think of, there's always good and bad for everything. And, I probably can go over both, but I mean, think about though, how you could lose control and be programmed even more than we are possibly, and start to really wonder what thought is yours or not, right? And how much you're being presented.
I already wonder that at times,
Yeah, even now I still wonder about it, because the technology is there to do it from what they have. But can you imagine if it's direct an implant right into your neural system and everything? So
it's just funny to me how they're trying to. Sorry, Brian, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I
was just going to say how they're trying to. They're so sly about how they've totally led us all into this, and how they're selling the 5G. It's just funny to me.
Well, think about it. They're going to give people the capability and offer them to increase their intelligence by 200%. They're going to give people. They're going to give people lengthened lifespans, and you're going to be plugged in. I mean, they're going to offer a lot of really good sweets for being completely maybe controlled at some point.
To me, what they're doing is recreating the abilities we already have. That way we don't discover what we're capable of. Wi-Fi, telepathy.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, yes, Brian. So you have to know, this is just my thoughts. Okay. And no, nobody has to know. And, but meaning that exactly they are creating that. And once you are plugged into that system, I think you can be plugged in forever to that system. And I think then once you're in there, you won't be able to, like you said, get to the point of ascension or be able to go past the matrix or that holds us into place where they're trying. Well, what they're trying to do is make sure there's not a changing of the guard. And we're at the cycle in the pattern and the long cycles of things where it's supposed to be the return of the feminine or the goddess energy, and the other does not want to let go. And that's the AI part, and that part of the whole system that's being created, because that was created in that energy, right? The last large system, the male.
Who knows how long it's all been running back?
Ages and ages and ages, though. It's a very long cycle, right? You have to think about the long cycles. So think about it. If you didn't want to give up your position, like think above or below hermetics, right? With any kind of, think about it. They always fight about giving up power, right? So if you don't want to give up your kingdom and your power, you fight every inch of the way.
Yeah.
So they have to get the whole population, as many as they can, to buy into the AI and be recycled and recycled and recycled, so that we can't escape that system, I think.
Until the
Go
sun
ahead.
explodes, and then, like I was saying, or the whole universe, and then we're all back to 0 point entirely, right?
There's your 0 point. I wondered how you were going to fit that in.
That was Brian's term, but it just
It
had to be
works.
apropos.
Yeah, that works. No, it's true. 0 point?
0
Sure.
point to me is a point within the body. It's a process that you move through when we're moving through the release. Move through 0 point. 0 point is the point of all creativity. You move back and forth through that. It's all about the dark and the light, balancing.
It's neutrality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
0 point.
Yeah, I like to look at the yin yang symbol, and you have that seam in between, right? That's the balance, and that thin seam between the two, the positive and the negative, and that one breath or moment in the middle where everything is in balance, then to go either side, right?
Right.
So you have to think of a pendulum swing, and most people don't realize you need that female, male, positive, negative to create movement or to create even our existence. Without it, we wouldn't
Exactly.
exist. So you can't stay
Exactly.
in that one breath or moment for very long before you have to start the swing either way. So, but it is nice to sit in that moment for, as long, even for that instant, in that balance and that quiet.
And I had this thought the other day about like humanity, like there is only one humanity in existence, and that it's to come here and have an experience is something that people or souls or whatever want to do. But if we progress beyond that, then you can't have the human experience anymore. Or if you become all dark or all light, you lose the human experience. So I feel like that's probably the reason for the resets, right? Because we start to advance, we advance along, and then you can graduate or you can reset, and then you still have the opportunity to come back and have the human experience.
Come back and play over.
Yeah.
Start over again.
With it, and then there's obviously there's certain rules they have to play by. There's certain rules that the people that are the controllers or whatever you want to call them, they definitely have rules that they have to, it looks like that they have to live by, or that they have to, they have to tell us what they're doing, or is that just programming?
I think that's programming as well.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's funny you said that. It popped in my mind when you said that.
Of course.
Yeah, because you have to remember that we are all, each and every one of us, programmed since birth.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? When we take our first breath, and it starts, right from the hospital, right from every act, every emotion, every thought after that, everything presented, every word, every, is programmed,
Yeah.
And you know that our gods had to be programmed as well from wherever they come from.
Our gods? Which ones? Are you talking about God?
I'm not sure. I don't.
I'm just saying the ones that they write about the ones that taught us civilization itself, mathematics, things like that.
It gets confusing. We start talking about gods, are we talking about God, the creator? Are we talking about God,
No,
Yahweh? Are we talking about God, Zeus, and them?
Talking about the aliens.
Aliens?
Pretty much.
I'm funny. I don't know how to, I look at it everything as it's funny word God, but I don't use that, but just the source of all is just the consciousness or the energy that binds all, which is just information. That is the one power. Other than that, I don't count anything. There's nothing else besides that. And everything else beyond that is just a creation from that, and the same as me, as you, as it. And I don't care what you call anything else. It doesn't matter. I have no words for them there. They don't matter at all. I don't care what you call it.
As far as the God, I don't think there's a man sitting up there. It's like you said, it's conscious.
That's what I said. Anything else doesn't matter. It doesn't exist. It doesn't, whatever. You can create whatever you want at whatever level. I don't care what you call them.
Totally.
Entities, angels, demons. I don't care what you call them.
I agree with you on that one. It's all, it's the one source. Everything emanates out from the source, and we all have the creative ability of the source.
We're all a part of it.
Yeah, and I know everyone. That's pretty much how pretty much everyone thinks like that around here, right?
That makes things less confusing. That's what I
Yes.
find. So because everybody belief in reality and is different in their own 360-degree gyroscopic number, that picture I showed you in your bubble, and so it's whatever you believe, right? So best thing is keep it simple, right? Isn't there a saying, keep it simple, stupid, or something? However that saying is. So I mean, there's what I said, and then
keep it simple. That is so true. It is so true.
And back to, again, Sue, the whole thing, what you started with, and about balance. And I have to think it's how you feel. We're here, we're living, we're here now, we're experiencing, we're here to just live. So why would you want to live in negativity? Why would you want to feel bad? Why would you continually want to stay in a rut? Why wouldn't you create a reality to the grandest thing you could ever imagine for yourself?
Yeah, because of programming.
What else are you here to do? No, I'm trying to correct that. That's how simple it is.
No, I agree.
Do or do not. Be or be not. Yes or no. Do it or don't. We live in that world of duality. I know there's everything and shades of gray in between, but not really. Right? And you can change your reality in an instant by completely inversing or reversing your thought or what you're doing, just automatic like that instantly.
But it has to be all the way. You can't just, you have to get the full, like you were talking about, with the recapitulation. You gotta be able to let go of all of whatever's around it, all that's attached to it.
Yeah, it when you get to that point. But I find, depending where you're at, sometimes, it takes time, and you make two steps ahead, one step back, 4 steps ahead, 1 step back, and you do make progress. So never give up, right? Or never stop. So you do, people are different, right? So in that instant, you can make a change in a small portion in your life, because life is complex. So, but with each little change you make every day, even if just try something every day, and eventually more and more will happen every day to make changes and make your life positive and of, value to yourself and worth. So you just have to go every day, see how you feel. Like I said, if you don't feel good, stop it. Do something to make you feel good.
Right. Yeah, or sometimes I also feel like
it's as easy as that. Come on.
You have to embrace the wounding, or embrace the, I don't know how to use, can't think of really a different word to say it, because I feel like as I tap into the defense mechanisms and let go of them, and just am willing to be like I always like to say, just in all my ugliness or all my lack of self-worth, or whatever's there, to let it up and out and just be that. And if you're there for a few minutes, you're there for a few minutes. That's the beauty of this experience. It doesn't last very long, right? If you're angry, you really let it out, let yourself feel it. It doesn't last very long. It immediately will shift into some different, sadness, whatever.
That's called emotional clearing.
Yeah.
It's better to go ahead and process.
You can look it up there. Yeah, there's lots of books on it. Lots of people. It's been out there for 30 years, or but that's exactly what that's called, Sue. Emotional clearing.
Yeah. And I think it's important.
Then you do feel great. And if people, and I've known, if you're at the point of real depression and real upset and I'm telling you, the best thing you can do, go somewhere remote by yourself, or somewhere where nobody will hear you. Emotional clearing, scream at the top of your lungs for however long it takes, while you're thinking about whatever that's pissing you off or making you angry or putting you down or whatever you want. Emotional clearing, go do that. And I'm there, stay there in the bush or wherever you are, or in a garage, I don't know where it is, wherever you're private. And I'm telling you, let it out.
Yeah.
Most people don't do that, and that'll clear you. I'm telling you, scream.
Yeah, if you live in an apartment or building, just put a pillow over your face. I've actually done that.
But not too long, because you might be able to come up and breathe after.
They might still hear you, but it don't sound like somebody's getting murdered.
No, but that's why, even if don't do it in your apartment. Go somewhere. Let's try to get in nature.
I'm just saying, if you have to. No, I would highly recommend getting out into nature if possible. Even though somebody might call it, somebody's dead out there. I heard somebody screaming in the woods.
Or being around animals, like your dogs or your cats
That
or whatever.
definitely
Those
helps.
things always.
But I
Amazing.
gave people an extreme case of emotional clearing, which
No,
they
which is
recommend. That's
it's
I was
great.
thinking at the very lowest when people are at the point of, you know, really low and feeling really bad. You know.
Which there's a lot of people out there that are really, really stuck in that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it is, and also the screaming is a very physical thing because you really engage your lungs, and that's where we store a lot of our grief and depression and whatnot is in the lung area anyway. So I think that's why we get stuck in our breathing. We don't breathe into our belly. It's stuck in our breathing because we carry a lot of our sadness in the lung area and the heart area.
It's a very good point. Never thought of it that way.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's true, Sue, for sure.
It's that physical, that's the word I want to use, like you're restructuring your cellular memory by doing that kind of thing. And then when you heal, you also come from a point, your greatest wound is your greatest point of power. It's the medicine that you bring to the planet to give to everyone else, because everyone is different. Everyone has their own path. But you can pick up one piece here, one piece there, one piece for Brian, one piece for Karen, one piece for me, that type of thing, and make it your own, as long as you're doing something with it.
Yeah, it's simple. Yeah, it's simple, Sue, because everybody, because we're stupid and humans aren't too bright. It's because we don't learn unless it's something really bad that we have to go through. If everything's all nice and sunny and la la la, people, we don't learn. We don't want to change. We don't want to move. We don't want to expand or do anything different. Things are great, and that's fine. So it is
affect them personally.
Yeah, it has to, and it has to be something that will makes them change, and that scale will vary depending. Sometimes people have to go through, oh my God, it's just unbelievable the things that people put themselves through in order to make those changes, in order to wake up, in order to gain energy. But you're right, we learn the most through the most negative, the worst experiences in our life. And with as negative or extreme those are, you then come full circle, and then, like you say, they become your greatest gifts, your most power, your most cherished things that helped you learn, expand, or become who you are. I mean, everybody says, especially I hear it over and over when people come through just horrendous things, they always say about if they had not gone through that, they would never be who they are today.
Right, that's exactly right. Yeah.
Right.
One of the greatest teachers I know had this a massive traumatic experience and had 5 weeks to live, and now she's out teaching around that subject. And she lived. Also, she was fortunate that she grew up with a lot of Native American influence around her, because the doctors told her you have 5 weeks to live, and she was like, no, I'm gonna live, and she lived.
Oh no, that's easy to do. My dad was told that 15 years ago.
Right.
and he's still counseling people. He goes up twice a week to the hospital and talks to people and counsels amputees, and he's retired from he's just a great man. So yeah, I don't believe them. And he definitely, I get from him, the mind over matter and different things, because they tried to convince him that he was that ill, but no way. He says, no, I don't believe you.
Yes, some people, like my grandmother that passed, she was just too stubborn. I mean, she was supposed to die like 6 months, 8 months before she died, and she was like, "Oh hell no, I'll go when I want to
go." So you're right. That was me.
That was you. What?
Yeah, I thumped. I moved my table there, and somebody was thinking of something else. So sorry. I made some noise. So, anyways, you know what, Brian? I didn't even see who's in chat today to say hello to everybody. We didn't even really hello everybody in chat.
We got quite a few. Let's see here real quick. I have to go back for a while. Scratch and Clean, Max Vision, Thought the Mom, Lila Star, OA.
Oh, Dan, yeah. Hi,
Randy
Dan.
Robinson's. Let's see. Robin Ledford.
Robin.
I think their name was
my favorite bird. Nick is here.
Yep, that's what I was just getting ready to say.
Oh, good night. Hi, Nick.
Desert Rose, That Way.
Desert
Mother
Rose.
Nature.
Mother Nature. Okay.
JH.
Chloe,
Just I don't have chat on.
Michelle Canham Free, David Barry.
Oh, David. Oh, yes, I was polishing his thing. I was, David, I have to apologize. I've been so busy. I was almost done. I was just at the polishing stage, and I just before the show, I was polishing your pendulum to get the last polishing. I have another coat. Yeah, I think you'll be pleased. So, David, yes, it's almost ready. I was polishing it today.
Right on.
Oh, no, you should see it. It took me a bit, David, because I had to switch. I found the other one was smaller and it cracked. And so I was so upset, and just to let you know. And then I waited and I wondered what I was going to do. And then I got a shipment of my crystals, and there was one other even nicer as a natural pendulum. And so that was part of the delay. So I wanted to tell you that too. So sorry, David. But this one's done now, and at the polishing. It's beautiful. Wait till you see. And I'll send it to you.
Sending out a lot, because I've had people that's actually sent me pictures of the ones that you've sent out, and been a lot of pretty crystals you've sent out.
Amazing crystals. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. And we will have a show. I'm going to be updating about the Crystal Network soon and everything on several shows, because there's lots to talk about as far as that and where we're at. So really good information as well.
Yeah, the Crystal Network is to me I love the whole awesome concept of it, because like we talk about, like I always see the hexagonal grid, like I'm always telling you, and it just the points of light, and it always makes so much sense to me now why, like, our group is all over the world.
It's amazing. Hundreds of crystals all over. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
This is really monumental. Like,
it is.
After it's up and going, like, holy cow, look out. They're going to be running for cover.
Yeah, I know. And especially when we gather, and get together on the focus and the purpose. Once, my job is just to connect it all. It's complicated as far as programming them and everything and who I'm working with, but I'm getting tons of help, and it's going to be just phenomenal. I mean, just wait, like you say, just wait.
Is the festival something that can be talked about right now, or no?
Oh, the Knowing Festival?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll wait. Yeah, we have, I know that's part of the Crystal Network too. And it's something that I'm working with Rob, and actually we'll be on a show coming up soon. So yeah, we have a couple different things, but the Knowing Festival, he
sent me an email and give me some details about that the other day.
Yeah, so that's another, kind of an offshoot of the whole Crystal Network and different. So yeah, we're organizing that as well. I have some other things on the go too. And Sue and I talked as well. I'm working with some other very powerful women too, Brian. An offshoot of that is we're doing a separate women's network too, just for women, to empowering women. So there's also a separate network, and Sue's part of that group too, right, Sue? So we're putting a whole part of the Crystal Network, but there's the separate one for women, like too, as well, just for women and women issues.
I mean, we are trying to raise the feminine frequency.
That's what I mean. Yeah. So, and we're trying to go into the goddess and stuff. So we need to empower our women and support the women, I find, with certain women's issues. So we're going to do a group as far as that. And actually, I find most men are really good and everything too, but just something.
I
am woman, hear me roar.
Also, we all have the masculine and feminine within each of us. So it's also important to me with the feminine rising, that it's the feminine and not the masculine version of the feminine that you're seeing. They're trying to, they're taking that concept to me of the feminine and trying to make it masculine and make it the feminist movement. You know what I'm saying?
No, yeah, absolutely.
Sort of, yeah. I find it sometimes confusing.
Yeah, it is
nowadays.
Confusing. It is confusing because as women, as far as I'm concerned, at least my age, we're not raised with a lot of feminine. We weren't trained in the feminine. We were trained to be in the masculine, to go to school, and so I feel like that I personally had to go back and learn in some ways. Oh, this is feminine. Feminine is about receiving and and nurturing. It's not, you know what I mean? It's some of that comes naturally, but some of it got programmed out of a lot of us.
Yes, and of course we know when that happened, that had to do with the movement of women into the workforce in the corporate world,
Yeah.
and where, that whole. But we don't need to discuss all of that and the breakup of the family unit and on and on. Yes. Anyways, Brian, hey, did anybody have any questions in chat or anything?
Not
that
that
they
I've
wanted
seen.
anything? Anybody?
Now is a good time to ask, though, if you do have a question.
Yeah, if
You
anybody
can put
wants
it in all
to know
caps.
anything, or maybe
Put it in
somebody.
all caps, I'll catch it.
No?
There's Miss Ravenwolf and Trina Phoenix was with us. Brandy
Oh,
Robinson.
Trina. Hi, Trina. Yes, I have to talk to Trina.
Scratch. Shannon Kling, the Hammer of the Gods.
Okay.
Tina Boo, 1, 2, 3.
Scratch says, I don't have a real name. I thought it said something about time. It's just put me in mind of the concept of time and how there really is no time. Like you were talking about, Karen, before we started with you're in double age because you're in real time, and then always moving between.
Oh, you're telling me all my secrets are alive here.
Sorry.
Actually, I've got a question. And Desert Rose was asking this today in Wayne's chat. She wants to know, can crystals help clear the chakras?
Of course, it's a tool, right? Like anything else. And they're powerful, of course, and crystals are special and have certain energies and colors, and each one for different, of the chakras, which if you're interested, I actually can put together, I have a chakra set of crystals, and just fortunate because of all of the colors of my crystals that go right from clear up to every color of the rainbow, I'm able to pick out the 7 colors for each of the chakras in a crystal set. So yeah, if anybody's interested, I can do the chakra sets or special colors or crystals for certain chakras and different things like that. So
and
definitely
Sue has the essential oils for chakras as well.
Yeah. Right. Who, Sue does?
Sue does, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. We did that whole series a while back on the different oils for the chakras, and
again, the tool again, because they all have vibrations that match up, right? The oils or music or color or the crystals, and so they're all tools or things that you can use to help and to empower you. But crystals are great because of their piezoelectric ability, right? Remember, they actually have energy. And they're actually positive, negative, and they use them, and are
you talking about how they generate like a physical energy when you squeeze them?
Definitely. Yeah, by applied pressure, right? It's so much part of our world that people would be astounded how much quartz and quartz crystals are used in everyday things. Tons.
Wow.
Anything that you press, like a Bic lighter or those things that you press to start barbecues, or anything that clicks, has a little quartz crystal in that's applying pressure to create that electrical charge.
Yeah,
everything
that stuff fascinates me
and of course all our communication systems and computers and fiber optics and everything.
Don't they make watches with quartz?
Yeah, quartz watches. That was our initial ones, and crystal radios, and so you can really see it's a communication, right? Quartz is real communication crystal.
I mean, they've even said that some quartz can hold unlimited amounts of data in them.
That is true. And that's what they use, right? So so the answer to crystals and powerful, yes, very powerful.
And someone also asked about positive, like what would be positive. I threw out a few that I knew, but you were more of the crystal person than I am.
What would be what?
Positive energy.
A crystal to use for positive? Is that what they're asking? Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Citrine actually is one of the best. Citrine turns anything negative to positive immediately. So that if anybody's interested in that, like I said, I have some really special crystals that are phantom quartz crystals or ametrine type crystals. And the thing that's really good about those is they have the layer of clear crystal, the layer of amethyst, and then the layer of citrine on top, right? So it's really cool because the clear is your communication and clarity and your third eye. Your amethyst is your healing and your balance and anything wrong that way. And then your citrine layer on top is your taking negative and turning it positive for balance. So that's why my tri-crystals are really exceptional. And also the colors, the citrine is your lower chakra, Sue, right? And the other ones are your upper. So it connects all your chakras together See those, and so they're really rare. You find the crystals that I have, those triple ones, or the phantom crystals with the 3 layers. So those are really powerful for that. They're really good. So if anybody wants one, you can email me and buy one, and I'll or ship it,
put
or
your
however you want to do
website
that.
up. Oh, of course I can't do that because I have this new computer.
No, that's okay.
Max Vision said in the chat that frequencies are good for chakras as well. And it's funny that the FDA come out the other day and said that the future of medicine is not actually going to be through pharmaceuticals.
No.
It's going to be through frequency and vibration. And for the FDA to say that.
Oh, they're already doing that. If you go into Europe, Brian, and you go into frequencies, they're already using frequency in a little machine that they've done and had success rate for having people that are actually paraplegic and has spinal injuries, and that through vibration and these little boxes and the right frequency, they're actually healing all that and correcting. So
I've been on one, and it actually
they're great.
Yeah.
So you're right. It all has to do with how our systems work, how our auric onion layers and our electrical grid systems and frequencies. It's all has to do with that. All of it.
It's interesting. Is yesterday I had a light. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't know exactly what it is. I know it's light. It's a light thing. I can't remember what kind of light. She said, put it on my knee.
A light therapy.
Yeah, but and I can't remember. It was more than just light, more than LED light. She was telling me about it, and I don't remember what it was, but. My knee was really bothering me yesterday, the one that had the knee replacement, and it was a lot of swelling. I was under on that light for like 10 minutes, and my knee was the best it had been since.
Yeah, so like you say,
it's amazing.
Yeah, it was a frequency, right? It was a frequency she was applying to, right? So So
I guess it was a light frequency, not a sound frequency.
Exactly.
Frequency, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'd be a light frequency, right? But everybody keep in mind that, because when the person said, how important frequency is, that that's how everything gets manifested on our physical plane of existence. We wouldn't be here unless we were a vibration or frequency. Which is light, and we're a perception to a light. We exist because of light, which is a frequency, and our ability to receive or repel, or
I think that's why the Schumann resonance is so low, such a low frequency. That's how we become into the physical, to move down to that frequency, bring the light down.
It's a definitely a lower frequency for sure. And that's why we're back to our whole beginning and our thing about lower frequencies, and people want to raise their vibrations and raise their frequencies, get into balance, get into better health, to feel better. And so that you can do those things you want to do, no matter what it is, whether it's creating better financial or jobs or partnerships, or anything in the physical plane. You have to feel good to create good. And so you want to raise your vibration. It's all just about raising your vibration or frequency.
You got to get it right in here before you try to mess around with any of that other noise.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Otherwise, that's why some of these things that people are bringing out, like, if you're going to talk about them and introduce them, that's great. But please talk about the dangers as well, because some of these things that you're messing around with, are pretty serious, and you don't even realize it because it seems cool.
Oh, what are you talking about, Brian? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you mean.
It just kind of goes back to the esoteric terms and things that I was talking about, I think, at the beginning of the show, right, Brian?
I'm not sure what that. All I know is that people shouldn't do things like blood rituals, and if you want to look into
what I'm talking, ceremonies and rituals, things like that.
Rituals that are on the negative, or not even that. I don't even look at it that way. I mean. Heck, I don't look at it good or bad or black that much or that. They just are. But you're right. I mean, you could also do a blood ritual that would have a very positive. It was, say you were. I mean, really, I just thought about that. Hey, say I was going to give my blood to cure cancer. I would do a blood ritual for that, or I would do a blood ritual to do peace on earth or something. So yeah, I guess. That discounted.
I'm just saying, make sure that you're educated on it first.
Protect yourself. Protect yourself. I think too. You have to look at why you're doing things. You have to look
Mhm.
at it, really sit and look at the virtue, the honor, the reason, really look inside. I think that's what you're saying as far as, your morals, integrity, different things. Why are you doing something and what is it for? So I think that's the whole thing is the purpose, and if it's honorable and love and goodwill and it's good, then sure. Like I said, again, if it makes you feel good and and it's loving and kind and positive, sure, I think you should go for it.
Do it.
Do
Do
it.
it.
Do it.
Or
Yeah.
do y'all have a final word for us?
What?
What
I
was
said,
that?
do you have a final word for us?
Sue, yeah, Sue must. That was my final word. Remember, I said, yeah, just give up all those bad things that make you feel bad and you have problems with, and just start doing great things.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I guess along that line, my final word would be really, for me, I go back to like working with the elements, find out what you have a lot of in your chart, or what your sun sign is, or your Mercury, or not your Mercury, well, your Mercury, but your Venus and your Mars, your masculine and your feminine energies, and work with that. For me, it's more of the earth energy. So working through the body, working through the physical, where the water signs are going to be working more in the emotional and that kind of thing. So to me, it's like, if you're interested in really learning to move the energy, like Karen's talking about, really use the energy and use it in your favor and learn to process it easily and turn on a dime. You got to figure out how your system works and do it that way.
Yeah,
Don't
it
ever
definitely is
complicate it.
yeah, it's definitely a good tool.
Keep
Remember,
it simple.
yeah, and Sue, because Sue does the astrology. Remember, I think last week I mentioned about how important the rising sign is, and
Yeah.
this is another
Awesome.
real tool. Okay, not just So if you do your charts and you find out your rising sign, remember that's how you view the whole world, gets washed by that, and how the world sees you. Everything goes through that rising sign. So then again, if your rising sign is water, then like myself, then I submerge myself in water to connect and to shut the world off and to stop that madness and to connect and to really connect with myself. So I use water. It's my rising sign. So yeah, if anybody get a hold of Sue, whoever does astrology, find out your rising sign, and that can be used as a tool to empower yourself and to know what to use to connect with yourself. So you could have earth, which means connect with the earth, walk in the earth, garden, put your hands in the dirt if you're an earth person, right? If you're a fire person, use a candle, use flames, use a campfire, use fire. Makes sense, right?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Did I miss one?
absolutely.
Which one did I miss? So I did, and air, of course, like my, as well. Rising sign, air. You like to be in wind, go on the mountains. Make sure to play with the wind, of course. Anything like that with air. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been trying to work with that a little bit.
Oh,
So.
yeah. Oh, yes, Brian. Yeah, I'll talk to you after about, you should see what I have for you. Yes. That's something else.
Surprise.
Surprise, surprise. It came to me automatically. Remember I said that
Yep.
you needed a fluorite, right? Dodecahedron, or no, it's not a dodecahedron. It would be an octahedron, a great big one. Anyways, I came across a great big one, just perfect for what we said for controlling the weather and perception and using all your air. So, and I have it I put it into this ancient piece of wood from the Glacier River, and it looks like this gun. It's really cool, but it sits on there, and it's a weather control gun, I call it, instead of a wand, but it's really male, and your hand fits perfect in it, but it's for good, right? So you can point it and change your weather. It's really cool.
Absolutely. Well, ladies,
I know. Wait till you see it. It's so cool.
Thank you for a wonderful evening.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was. And thank you, Sue, for coming on. Like I said, I really like when other people come on, and I liked your idea for the show and about balance and healing and gaining your energy back and using real tools. So I like that. So
I appreciate it.
Like I said, we'll get Rob on.
Yes,
We'll
and Brian and I were going to come on about the Knowing Festival and all of that. Yeah, we're going to be talking about that.
Sorry to spill the beans about that.
No, that's okay.
Hey, it's all right. Marketing.
Yes, marketing. Now everybody's going to wonder, Knowing Festival, what's that?
Like you wasn't already busy enough.
Oh, yes, I know, but that's okay. And I'm even going to get busier, but that's okay. one of my right hand people here pretty soon is going to get really involved and going to be helping with the Crystal Network and taking over a lot of those offshoots. So I'm going to have help very soon, and actually this person is going to start being on shows and things as well. And I think you've approached him already, Brian. So Nick is going to. Hi, Nick. Here.
Yep.
Anyways, Nick is going to be start coming on quite a few shows and different things. So I am getting really busy, and Nick is going to be doing a lot with the Crystal Network and helping with that. So I really need some help at this point with just managing all that part. So
yeah, I think me and Nick and Brian Lunsford are going to do a show together.
Yeah, see, so that's my Nick. Yeah, well, I should say mine, not mine. I mean, he's just such a wonderful person. I love him dearly, and he's so knowledgeable, and he's so in tune with crystals and what he does. So you guys are going to really enjoy him. So yes, so Nick will be on shows with me as well, and Rob too, and different people. So.
Sounds good. Well, listen, y'all hang right here with me. Tomorrow night, I've got the Trinity of Truth with Kent and Trina. Sunday night, I'm not really sure. I may take the night off, but listen, folks. Get busy living or get busy dying. Until then, be the frequency you want to receive.
That's right. See that? Perfect. I love that, Brian. Bye, everybody.